Buongiorno and welcome to the big beautiful Bella San Luci kitchen. We're here to cook April's honorable mention recipe from our contest. It's springtime. Some of my favorite Italian words come from springtime, like equinoccio primaverale, the spring equinox. And today's recipe was submitted by an Italian named person, Pamela Gelsomini, and Gelsomini is plural for jasmines. Such beautiful things happening in the springtime. The flowers are blooming and we're gonna cook this wonderful dish today. Come on, let's do it. We have our mise en place. There's a lot of mise en place in this dish, a lot of prep, all set up in advance. And our tzatziki sauce, yogurt, cucumber, mint, dill sauce. It's actually Greek. So we're fully Mediterranean. Greek yogurt, which is appropriate because it's a Greek sauce. Cucumber, typically a main ingredient. Our Bella San Luci sun-dried tomato and julienne, they've been drained because we're going to use the oil for a different application later. I'm going to put the salt in now. Use my spoon to get out my minced garlic and my lemon zest. Calls for a full tablespoon of lemon zest, which is going to add a lot of sharp, vibrant flavor. Here is mint, and I believe that there's mint in every aspect of this dish. Some dill, and finally a bit of lemon juice. And so we have a sun-dried tomato tzatziki that's going to go with our sun-dried tomato lamb meatballs. Okay, let's get to phase two. Here come the lamb meatballs. So we have our ground lamb. Let's get our sun-dried tomatoes into here. Sun-dried tomatoes everywhere. And when you send in your recipe, please use a lot of sun-dried tomatoes or a few different kinds of our products. And that was the sun-dried tomatoes. Here's the rest of the ingredients. Feta, again with the Greek. Breadcrumbs. You can use any kind you want because you're the chef. Here's 2 beaten eggs that will help as the binder. More mint. Mint and lamb is a classic combination. Garlic as well. I've been cooking lamb for 35 years and I've almost always cooked it with garlic. We have our seasonings here. Salt, cumin, cinnamon, paprika, black pepper, and an Italian herb blend. That all goes in together. And we have the reserved sun-dried tomato oil with which we will fry the meatballs after we've mixed them together, okay? You can use a spoon if you prefer. You can wear gloves if you prefer. Okay, we have kneaded the meat into a pretty tight ball, well mixed. Okay, so the pan's on the biggest burner on high so that when we get the meatballs into the hot oil, they will get a sear on them. That crispiness on the outside, that browning is a caramelizing, some sugar's coming out, and the meat will get a little sweet. I'm gonna pour the oil in and no little pieces of sun-dried tomato and the herbs because I'm afraid those will burn because I am gonna get this oil very hot. I'm just gonna do these by hand as we go and get them onto the edges of the pan where most of the oil has collected. The recipe calls for these to be golf ball size. One of the best things about cooking is when the food is talking to you. And let's move the oil around a little bit, okay? So we get some of the oil into the center of the pan so the meatballs don't stick. Let's try to unstick it by scraping with the tongs on the bottom of the pan. And these crispies that are sticking will be used to cook the couscous and give that pasta a little more flavor. And there we do have some browning happening. That rich dark brown is a lot of sugar and a lot of flavor. Chef Pamela Gelsomini's recipe calls for us to brown the meatballs on all sides and then cover them. So here we go, we're gonna do this and cook them 4 or 5 more minutes. The meatballs are cooked, we're gonna add our onions and garlic to the pan with a touch more of the sun-dried tomato oil that we reserved because there's already a good amount of oil in the pan left over from cooking the lamb meatballs. So let's get sauteing here with the onion, then the garlic. Sauté is a French word, it means to jump. So if we're really gonna saute, let's make it jump. And the onions themselves and the garlic have released a little bit of liquid, and that has deglazed the pan, gotten those flavorful crispies to come up. Now we're gonna add the mushrooms. We're gonna stir those in for a minute. Okay, the mushrooms have a little bit of color on them. They're starting to cook. Let's get the zucchini in there and stir it around, saute it. I believe 2 or 3 more minutes until we get a little color on it. Looking great. Looking great, smelling great, jumping great. And now let's add the couscous dry, but it's not dry in the pan. And we will toast that up. This is pearled couscous. It's actually a pasta. It all comes from wheat. Gonna give it another stir. Gonna give it another jump. And now we're gonna add the chicken stock. I'm gonna turn it to very low. I'm gonna stir in the stock well. Then I'm going to add the beautiful Bella San Luci sun-dried tomato julienne with Italian herbs and extra virgin olive oil, adding a wonderful color and deep richness. The tomatoes also have a lot of lycopene. It's an antioxidant, very healthy. Okay, phase 3 is complete. Let's take a little look at our couscous. Let's add the last couple of ingredients here. We have our seasoning. Good job, Chef Pamela, with the seasoning. We like that flavor in Italia. Then we're gonna add our feta and stir that in. And we're looking good, lots of color, lots of flavor. And to finish, right before we're done and we're gonna serve, we're gonna add the mint so that it doesn't turn color and stays fresh tasting. So we're gonna move over here to our presentation station, and we have 4 phases of presentation. So we're gonna grab a spoonful and make sure we have all of the elements of the couscous in one nice dollop. Let's do 2 for serving right in the middle of the plate. On top of that, or around it, we're gonna add 3 of the meatballs with a little bit of height for the presentation. We're gonna get a quenelle-shaped dollop of the sauce, put on top of that, and then a sprig of mint for color and flair. And there you have Chef Pamela Gelsomini's lamb meatballs on a sun-dried tomato couscous with sun-dried tomato tzatziki. Everybody, please enter your recipes at bellasanluci.com. You could be the big winner. Please have a wonderful springtime. Eat and cook with family and with love. Arrivederci.